to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is a professional motorcycle biker. It's no other than Miss Michelle Barcus. Welcome to Book 101, Miss Michelle. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yes, thank you, Daniel. My name is Michelle Barcus. I go by Mama Cadeless. I started riding motorcycles 4.5 years ago after moving to Colorado after my husband passed and found a whole new set of life and a new direction in my life and a purpose for what I do and just get out and ride that motorcycle and try to see how many miles I can cover a year. I also show horses. So a lot of these trips I go to horse shows. I also go to a lot of national parks and I go from coast to coast. I've been to both coasts on a motorcycle.
Miss Michelle, tell us the first time or the first encounter of a motorcycle.
Well, actually, I'm a second generation female rider. So my mom rode when I was a teenager back in the 80s. Women weren't as welcomed into the motorcycle community at that time. I went 34 years, moved here, was going by Durango Harley Davidson. I saw a black and white deluxe, and I pulled in. And 2.5 hours later, I bought my first motorcycle.
Yes, indeed. So, what are your struggles in your first year as a motorcycle bikers?
It was learning how to navigate. I live in the mountains, so learning how to corner in the mountains, learning how to navigate traffic, the animals to people to cars to all the things that you're going to see when you're out riding a motorcycle. And those were definitely challenges in the beginning because I'm only 5'2", and so my motorcycle at the time, that motorcycle is a little bit tall, so I was a little tippy toed, and so I had to learn to be comfortable coming into stops, learning how to just be natural with it, come in, land on one leg, not have to need both legs down, and then gravitated into bigger bikes as well.
Miss Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your story to the world. What inspired you to become a professional motorcycle biker?
It was the what motorcycles did. It's a freedom that you just can't really explain unless you're riding motorcycles. It was the one thing that I can get on in life, and everything in the background, all the noise of all the things that you're going through, they all kind of go quiet because when you're riding a motorcycle, you just can't be have all these distractions. So it allows you to kind of let things go out for a ride, and I come back, and it was amazing how suddenly all these problems that seemed like problems or things that I would have overthought, I wasn't thinking about them at all. So when I'd get back from a ride, it was just like everything kind of came into place, and it just gave me a freedom, just something that I can't really. Bikers kind of understand it, but it
Yes.
is definitely something that you just can't. There's nothing else out there that does this for me.
What kind of motorcycle do you ride, and why did they choose the model, or how did
Uh,
you choose the model?
Harley Davidson. My mom rode a Harley Davidson, so and I'd grown up with that, so that was the brand that had always stuck out. Plus, when you're traveling a lot, you can really hear Harleys coming, loud pipes, and I like the looks of them. I like how they feel, and that was definitely the bike of choice. I actually own 6 Harleys.
Did you try another brand except for Harley Davidson?
There's Indians. That's another American motorcycle maker, and then you've got Honda. You got Kawasaki, Yamaha. There's many different brands, many different types. I think that's the cool thing about motorcycles is once you find the one you like, you and the designs and how you like to ride. I like a cruiser style. I didn't really care for the sport bikes as much. I wanted to sit up more, and I like the way the handlebars are, and I just like the sound and the feel. So Harley was definitely my first choice.
Miss Michelle, can you walk us through your daily training routine as a motorcycle biker?
Well, a lot is learning what I need to wear. So when I go out and ride, I'm not one who wants to. My mom once taught me, you leave the leather on the pavement, not your skin. So I make sure that before I go out for a ride, I either have my chaps on or my half chaps, depending on the weather. I wear a vest or a leather jacket during the winter. I will ride short sleeved, but I definitely wear the vest, the having proper boots, protecting your ankles. That's a really important thing. Those are easy things to twist. So I tend to like to wear riding boots. And then when I get out, I'm kind of small and I have a little bit of a dip coming into my driveway. So it can be a little bit of a challenge at times. So I get out, I start up a bike, let it run for a few minutes, pull it out, and then check all the things that I need to check on my bike, like my oil, checking to make sure there's no lights or anything on, and give it a second to warm up. And then usually I click her on into gear and I head out.
Yes, indeed. Simple as like that, but you need to do it professionally like Miss Michelle. What was the most challenging race or ride you ever experienced?
The most challenging ride, oh man, my trip to Florida. I left Colorado and rode all the way down to Florida. I hit all different types of weather. I did this in very end of November into December, and my bike started having some troubles. I tried to navigate through it. Got within 433 miles before my bike had some issues, and I had to come be picked up. But Durango Harley Davidson, they like me so well that they sent a tech in a trailer and to come get me to make sure we could figure out what was wrong with the bike. And it actually was something simple, but that was a challenge. You have to be ready when you're on a motorcycle for things to change at any time. I mean, weather, you have to make sure you pack the right gear. You have to make sure that you know how your bike sounds, being familiar with the way it sounds, the way it feels, to know what a shake or a wobble feels like, to know when your tires are low, making sure they have plenty of air. So all those challenges come in, but when you have problems with your bike on the road, it definitely sets up a whole new set of challenges, and you have to be willing to not be upset about it, and make the phone calls you need to make, see if you can get picked up, and you go from there.
How do you prepare mentally and physically for a big race?
You make sure you have the right gear. Make sure that you pack all the right stuff. So when I leave here, I live in Colorado. So when I leave, I typically will have warm gear to cold gear, being set up for whatever I'm going to face, whether it's rain, making sure I have all my toolkit, anything that I need with me that I might use. And then it's just making sure that you make some stops. I'm not young anymore, so I definitely have to occasionally make sure I stop and get
Yes.
myself up and get off the bike and walk a second and then get back on. I usually travel 150, 200 miles before I stop.
Interesting indeed, Miss Michelle. Have you ever had any serious accidents and how did you recover?
I've been very fortunate so far in my 4.5 years. I have dropped. I learned really quickly about the front brake on gravel when I was first riding, and I slammed down a Sportster I had and bruised up my leg pretty good. But the one thing I knew was that you got to, just like in horses, you got to get back on. So I immediately got myself back on to make sure that, and learned that lesson that, you got to be careful with how much pressure you apply to either brake, and how fast a bike can go down. And when it goes down, it goes quick. Other than that, I've really been very fortunate. I've avoided a lot of things. You have to really be so vigilant when you're out riding.
Be vigilant, people. And what is your proudest achievement as a biker so far?
In that 4.5 years, I've covered 110,000 miles.
Wow, interesting. We're gonna give you a good applause for that. Congratulations, Miss Michelle. And how do you balance safety with performance when you are on the road or track?
Knowing paying attention, knowing where you're at, when you can speed up, when you can't. how to avoid traffic, how to be looking ahead. If I'm in a line of traffic, I will, sometimes veer my motorcycle over either to the left or to the right so that I can see the vehicles in front of the vehicle in front of me, so that I'm prepared for what's coming next. Like I said, the biggest thing is it's just that you got to be so vigilant. You have to be expecting that car to not stop. You have to be expecting someone to blow a light. You have to be ready for all of those challenges. And they always say you've got like I believe it's a 3, a 6, and a 12-second reaction time to what you're coming to. So you have to be prepared and know what is the thing to do, when to hit the front brake, when to hit the back brake, when you need to use both, how not to over aggressively hit either. And like I said, just really paying attention to the traffic and the people and everything around you.
Yes. Be aware of what's happening around. Miss Michelle, what advice would you give to someone who wants to enter professional motorcycling?
It takes time. The more miles, the more you ride, the more you do, the better you get at it. It's just not something that, there are those that go out and they ride maybe once or twice a month. I'm on a motorcycle every minute I can be on one. So that taught me how to be prepared for the things. It taught me how to handle situations. So it's just getting out and doing it, doing a lot of slow stuff, because the hardest thing about riding a motorcycle is the slow speeds. And as I tell people, the toughest thing for me is kickstand to upright because I'm so short and I ride big bikes. A couple of my bikes are over 800 pounds. So when you're picking up that bike, just learning how to balance it, learning how to ride, and it's just getting out and doing it, and just like I said, practicing a lot of stuff at slow speeds. I used to go to parking lots to practice U-turns, to practice weaving in and out, so that I would be prepared more when I got out on the highway for situations I'd face.
Yes, indeed. And thank you for your advice, Miss Michelle. Who are your biggest inspiration in the biking world?
My biggest inspirations are just the I don't know if I have any one single person. I think it's just the community itself, being accepted, being able to ride with people, learning that I like I said, I think it's more just the community that you're around and those that are willing to help you and teach you things. Riders who have been riding for a long time with a lot of experience were the people who I really spent a lot of time with, would ride behind, so that I would get better and better at riding.
What role does your team or crew play in your success?
It's just going out and doing it, paying attention, being aware. Have fun, enjoy the ride. Probably the best advice I was ever given is ride your own ride. So no matter who is with you and riding, if somebody wants to go fast and fly through the corners, if you're not ready yet, don't do that. You've got to, ride what you're capable of doing, because on two wheels, you've got a lot more riding than just on four, paying attention to the ground and everything that you're around. So it's just making sure that you're confident, encouraged to ride and do it at your speed and where you're most capable of riding.
How do you stay updated with the latest in biking technology and gear?
Well, I have a lot of really more modern Harleys, so it's just staying in, learning what they like. Some of my bikes have an infotainment center, so I've got kind of, GPS, all the things that in front of me, so when I'm riding, I can map out where I'm going. I can click on to see all the different how my bike's running and those types of things. And really, biking is, I don't think it really matters the age or the year. It's just getting out and doing it, and just paying attention to the most things that you really have to: your air pressure, tire, uh, your pressure in your tires, making sure that your tires are good, because if they're not, that's a good way to, have an accident, or to get yourself in trouble. So it's more of learning about your bike and all of its things that go with that bike. And it's just, like I said, getting out and doing it.
Do it, people. If you have the passion to do, motorcycle do it? How do you stay up? I mean, what role or how do you handle fear pressure during high stake events?
Like I said, it's riding your own ride. Don't go above what you're capable of doing. So if, like I said, if the group is going, 70 miles an hour around a curve and you're not ready to, don't do that. Go at what's most capable. You can catch up on the straightaways. So it's just staying, understanding where you're at as a rider opposed to what the group is, and try to ride with people who have, are willing to teach you, and not over aggressive you to cause you to maybe do something that you're not ready for. I've occasionally caught myself, trying to keep up with the group when I first started riding, and learned pretty quickly that no, I need to ride my own bike, let them ride theirs, so that I could stay safe. And then as I got better and better, the better I get with it.
Miss Michelle, as a professional motorcycle biker, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
This year, my big goal is to get over 30,000 miles in a year. Um, for me, it's trying to put in the miles, and try to get to some really cool places. I don't know that I have like really huge long term goals. It's try to ride as long as God's given me to ride and enjoy it. And if I stop enjoying it or stop finding the purpose in it and the joy in it, then I might need to stop. So I just try to make sure that when I'm out riding, that it is the thing I want to do. I enjoy it, and it's not something I feel pressured to do.
Yes, indeed. And as a professional bikers, can you tell us your recommended book that influenced your journey?
The boot, meaning
Yeah,
the my shoe wear.
the book that
Or
you
or
that
the book.
recommend.
I'm sorry. I
Yes,
thought you said sorry.
no worries.
So the Bible. The Bible has been a especially after losing my husband and choosing to move, totally away from where I knew anybody to a brand new area, trusting in the path that God set and finding my purpose in life. And I think that was probably my toughest thing, and that's why I go to it a lot, is to learn, what what purpose does God have for me? And I believe that His purpose when He introduced me to the motorcycles was, to get out and ride, to encourage women to do things for others, to do events and things that raise money for others, and tying in the community. But like I said, the Bible is probably my most go-to, especially when things are troubling or having a difficult time. It's amazing how you can just open it up, and you just never know where he's going to take you if you just, are struggling, open it up, and sometimes you're just touched by what it's saying, and it teaches you to forgive, which is a very powerful thing.
Yes, indeed. Miss Michelle, can you describe one of your favorite races and why it stands out?
Um, my favorite is going to be John 9:25. That was I don't know, but I was blind and now I can see. And when I read that verse, I understood, oh my gosh, I'm the blind man. It's not a story about a blind man. It is a story about it was just a eye opening experience. It was when I actually totally understood, of what that meant. And then as I started to get more into it, learning that, I'd been lost in the desert for 4 years, and that these paths and that everything in life, good and bad, has a reason and something to grow you.
Yes, it happened for a reason, people. And stop complaining. Count your blessings. And Miss Michelle, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, book 101 review in the fifth season, comedy 101 in its second season, food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 and love letters in third season, and my baby podcast, Mental Health 101, and my movie 101 and music 101 in its fourth season, and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Miss Michelle, where do you see your career going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I just started last August, Mama Cageless. That's my biker name. It was given to me by recording artist Crucifix and Sean P. East. And so it's been developing that, learning how to now do more of these podcasts and do more where I'm actually talking and being able to talk about the journeys and different things, and hopefully be a very big inspiration to women, especially women, because I think sometimes we're always told that we're not quite as, and I think as a woman, I'm not trying to be a man. I'm just trying to be the best woman that I can be, and I enjoy doing a lot of things that men do, but I do love to be good at them as a woman, not trying to compete with them, and showing women that you're stronger than you think. You can do more than you think, and the harder you work and the more determination and grit you put into something, you can be successful at whatever it is that you're looking for. So I'm just hoping to continue to build my Mama Cageless brand, and hopefully be able to do tell more about my story and about my past struggles and those things to, like I said, hopefully help people out there in this world.
Yes, indeed. And Miss Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your career as a professional motorcycle bikers?
Thank you.
Yes, where do gonna people will reach out for you, Miss Michelle?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I am getting close to starting my YouTube channel. So if you just look up Mama Cageless, you will find me.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Michelle Barcus because if you support her, more and more and more empowering biking to come. So, Miss Michelle, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
More to come, people. See you soon.